Some nights change everything. Kito never believed in fate until the evening Marcus walked into the lighthouse bar and shattered the careful walls he had built around his heart. What began as a chance encounter between two strangers seeking comfort in the neon light chaos of Lagos would later become the most dangerous and consuming connection of his life. In a city where secrets hide behind every smile and loyalty is tested with every sunrise, Kito would learn that the heart doesn't ask for permission before it falls. Watch to find out what happens in the story.
The text came at 7:47 p.m. Can't make it. Sorry. Kito stared at his phone screen in the dim corner of the lighthouse bar, watching those three words blur as anger and humiliation fought for dominance in his chest. 3 months of dating Delhi, and this was the fourth time he'd been cancelled on with less than an hour's notice. Another round? The bartender asked, eyeing Kito's untouched beer with sympathy that made everything worse. Make it whiskey, Kito muttered, shoving his phone into his pocket. That's when Marcus appeared. Tall, confident, with eyes that seemed to see straight through the careful facade Kito wore like armor. He slid onto the bar stool beside him without invitation, ordered his own drink, and turned with a smile that was equal parts danger and promise. Stood up or stood down? Marcus asked. Does it matter? Not really. Marcus clinked his glass against Kito's. I'm Marcus. 2 hours dissolved like sugar in rain. They talked about everything and nothing. Lagos traffic, favorite books, the peculiar loneliness of crowded cities. Marcus was funny, attentive, present in a way that made Kito forget why he'd been angry. When Marcus suggested they leave together, Kito didn't hesitate. The night that followed was electric. In Marcus's apartment, with the city lights painting patterns on the ceiling, Kito felt seen for the first time in years. Not judged, not measured, just accepted. They shared whispered confessions between kisses, built temporary bridges over their separate loneliness. Dawn came too quickly. Marcus was already dressed when Kito woke, looking troubled in the gray morning light. This was... Marcus started, then stopped. Thank you. They exchanged a meaningful look that said everything and nothing. No numbers were traded, no promises made. Just a perfect night sealed in amber, preserved forever. Monday morning arrived with the chaos of roadside hawkers and honking danfos. Kito adjusted his tie in the elevator mirror, mentally preparing for the quarterly presentation. The new regional manager was transferring in from the Port Harcourt office. Some corporate restructuring meant to optimize synergy, according to the memo. Team, please welcome Marcus Eze, our new regional director, his boss announced. The world tilted on its axis. Marcus stood at the head of the conference table in an expensive suit, his expression professional and composed. But when their eyes met, Kito saw the same shock ripple across his face before he smoothed it away like erasing chalk. Looking forward to working with all of you, Marcus said, his voice steady, betraying nothing. The meeting was torture. Kito could barely focus on the slides as his mind replayed every moment from Friday night. The way Marcus had laughed, the things they'd shared, the feeling of safety in his arms. Now those memories felt contaminated by fluorescent lights and corporate hierarchy. After the meeting, Marcus caught his arm in the hallway. My office. 5 minutes. It wasn't a request. Marcus's office still smelled of fresh paint and ambition. He closed the door, ran a hand through his hair, and for the first time since that morning, looked as lost as Kito felt. I didn't know, Marcus said. If I had known you worked here. Does it matter? Kito echoed his own words from the bar. It happened. Now we move forward professionally. Marcus studied him with those same penetrating eyes. Can we? The question hung between them, heavy with possibility and danger. 3 weeks of careful distance crumbled on a late Tuesday evening. Most of the office had gone home. Kito was finishing a report when Marcus appeared at his desk, loosened tie and tired eyes. Working late? Marcus asked. Someone has to pick up the slack, Kito replied, not looking up. Kito. The way Marcus said his name made him pause. I can't stop thinking about that night. Don't, Kito warned, finally meeting his eyes. Whatever you're about to say, don't. But Marcus stepped closer anyway. I'm married. Have 2 kids. A house in Lekki. On paper, I have everything. He paused. But that night with you, I felt alive in a way I haven't in years. The words hit Kito like ice water. You're married. I should have told you. I know. But we were just two strangers in a bar, and for one night, I could be myself without the weight of expectations. Kito stood, gathering his papers with shaking hands. You need to leave. But before he could escape, Marcus caught his wrist. The touch sent electricity up his arm, betraying every rational thought. They stood frozen, the air between them charged with everything they couldn't say. Tell me you don't feel this too, Marcus whispered. Kito wanted to lie. Wanted to pull away and pretend that gravity hadn't shifted between them. But standing in that empty office with Marcus's fingers wrapped around his wrist, he couldn't. What started that night became a pattern. Stolen moments in parking garages. Late-night messages deleted before dawn. Meetings that ran long behind closed doors. Each encounter was a match struck in a room full of gasoline, thrilling, dangerous, inevitable. 2 months into their arrangement, Kito saw Marcus's wife for the first time. She came to the office Christmas party, elegant, warm, with laugh lines around her eyes that spoke of years of shared joy. Their children hung on Marcus's arms, calling him daddy with such trust it made Kito's stomach turn. Kito, meet my wife Amara, Marcus said smoothly, his hand on the small of her back. And these troublemakers are Zara and Toby. Amara's handshake was firm, her smile genuine. Marcus says you're his best analyst. Thank you for all your hard work. Kito excused himself to the restroom and stared at his reflection, barely recognizing the man who stared back. When had he become this person? The one who smiled at a woman whose husband he'd kissed just hours before? Who could look at innocent children and carry the weight of what he was helping destroy? That night he told Marcus it had to end. They argued in Marcus's car, parked at the edge of the lagoon where the city lights reflected like broken promises on the dark water. I never lied about who I was, Marcus said, his voice raw. You knew from the start. I knew you were unavailable. I didn't know about the wedding ring you take off. The family photos you keep turned away. The lies you tell so easily it terrifies me. I love you, Marcus said desperately. Doesn't that count for something? Kito's laugh was bitter. Love. You don't even know what that means. Love isn't stolen moments and deleted messages. It's not choosing someone when it's convenient and hiding them when it's not. What do you want from me? Marcus's voice cracked. I want you to choose. But we both know you already have. The transfer request sat on Kito's desk for a week before he signed it. Moving to the Abuja office meant starting over, leaving behind the life he'd built in Lagos. But staying meant drowning in a love that would never fully be his. Marcus found out before the announcement went official. He cornered Kito in the stairwell, desperation making him careless. You're leaving because of me, he said. Not a question. I'm leaving because of me, Kito corrected. Because I finally realized I deserve more than scraps of someone else's life. I deserve someone who doesn't hide me. Someone who chooses me first, not as an escape from their reality. I do choose you, Marcus protested. Then leave her. Tell your children the truth. Build a life with me in the daylight, not just in shadows. Kito's voice was steady now, certain. But you won't. And I've stopped waiting for you to be brave enough. Marcus's silence was answer enough. On his last day, Kito cleaned out his desk methodically. Colleagues wished him well, oblivious to the war he'd fought in the quiet spaces between meetings. Marcus watched from his office window but didn't approach. As Kito walked out of the building for the last time, his phone buzzed. A message from Marcus. I'm sorry I couldn't be who you needed me to be. Kito typed and deleted 3 responses before settling on the truth. I'm sorry I needed you to be someone else. But I'm not sorry anymore for choosing myself. He pressed send, then blocked the number. Not out of anger but out of mercy, for both of them. The bus to Abuja left at dawn. As Lagos disappeared in the rearview mirror, Kito felt the weight of those months begin to lift. The pain would linger, grief always did. But beneath it, like sun breaking through clouds, was something new, the quiet strength of knowing his worth. Some loves teach you who you are. Others teach you who you refuse to become. Marcus had taught him both. And for that, despite everything, Kito was grateful. The road ahead was uncertain. But it was his road, chosen with open eyes and a heart learning finally to belong to itself. 6 months later, Kito sat in a cafe in Abuja, reviewing project proposals. The city was different, slower paced, with wider streets and a different kind of energy. He'd made friends, built routines, started to feel like himself again. His phone buzzed. An unknown number. His finger hovered over the delete button, but curiosity won. It was a photo. Marcus, alone at the lighthouse bar, sitting in the same spot where they'd met. No message, just the image. Kito looked at it for a long moment, feeling the echo of what once was. Then he deleted it and returned to his proposals. Some chapters close. Some questions go unanswered. And sometimes, the greatest love story is the one you write with yourself. He
Thank you
ordered
for
another
watching.
coffee and smiled
Kindly
at
do
the
well to
waiter.
subscribe,
A
like, and
genuine
share for
smile,
more
untouched by
interesting stories
secrets or
like this.
shame.
See you on
This
our
was
next
enough.
story.
He was
Bye.
enough.